I want to start with a story about my granddaughter Ella. She was about 3 when the story happened. She's about 4 there. And it was the most beautiful story. My wife Cheryl spends a great deal of time with Ella, and she collects her from school twice a week, and they come home and they play and they get fed, etc., etc. And I came home one day to find Ella and Cheryl sitting on the floor, and Cheryl had just asked Ella, what was your favorite thing that happened at school today? And Ella spoke about her imaginary friends and her very good friends and the songs that they were singing, that they had learned to sing, etc. And then she started to sing the song that they were learning that day. And after that show, I'm not going to sing Nkosi Sikelele Africa, but that's what they were singing, or that's what she was singing. And it was beautiful just to see this happen. Now, Cheryl has had some difficulty with those words. She's got the tune, but she hasn't been able to sing the words very well. I mean, it is 6 languages after all. Everybody had to do some learning with that song. And but after a little while, some magic started to happen. And Cheryl was singing in louder and louder voice with Ella. And what I'm saying is that we are enthralled, we are so enthralled by what our kids do and how they do it, that they take us up somehow and they teach us stuff. And we can learn from our kids. We can get it from our kids. And the question, I guess, is, what do we get from our kids? But first I want to do a little bit of a reality check. It's not that nice stuff. We're living in an age of amorality. We are effectively leaderless. Is our democracy really working for us? Is this really what the struggle was for? And I have some doubt about that. But wait, we have a world-leading constitution, don't we? This great deal of energy went into it. Written in the most beautiful language. It's not as constitutionalese as other constitutions, but it is in a dialect of legalese, so it makes it difficult to understand. But what it does do is it has in it a Bill of Rights. Chapter 2 of the Constitution is a Bill of Rights. Here we are. And it's a roadmap for transformational development. It really is. It's a wonderful hope. So we have this. And we have a sound economy. And we have what's considered to be, on a worldwide level, a very, very sound judiciary. We have a lot going for us. But schools are in a mess. Education's in a mess. Literacy is at an all-time low for South Africa. In fact, a study was done by the Stellenbosch Bureau of Economic, the BER, Bureau for Economic Research, a couple of years ago, a study to determine the cost of illiteracy to our economy. The numbers are so huge. 550 billion rand per annum is what illiteracy costs us, and that's the lowest estimate. They said if you just tweak the assumptions a little bit, it goes up to like 730 billion rand. Do we know how big that is? It's huge. Our leadership, Nkandla Gate, Arms Gate, Gupta Gate, corruption, Marikana, and a society where we're stuck in a drugs world and gang violence and kids caught in the crossfire and xenophobia and the most shameful of all, child rape. What if we could bring our Bill of Rights into our lives? What if we could be so fully heard that our leaders could lead us to this hopeful vision? But illiteracy has undermined us. How can we expect our democracy to be working for us if we haven't? Well, let me ask a question. Here it is. I showed you before. I'll show you again. Hands up those who've read our Bill of Rights. I knew I would not need a mathematical degree to work that out. And the reason that we don't read it, I mean, this is in 6-point, I think, to try and get it onto a number of pages that I could hold out with one hand. If you put it in the proper text where you can actually read it, it's 13 pages long. It is constitutionalese. We don't read it. It's kind of an unattainable, a beautiful vision, but unattainable. And I think it's got to do with leadership. But let me go to leadership quickly. There are two kinds of leadership that I want to talk about here. There are probably several, but there's visionary leadership and there's vision-driven leadership. And we too often get caught up with visionary leadership. Visionary leadership is about having a leader that says, this is my vision, let me take you there. And that's the most dangerous type of leadership that we can have, and it's a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, if you think of like the quintessential situations one can find oneself in, like Hitler, great leader, questionable vision. But the alternative is vision-driven leadership. That's where the vision is created by the people, and then the people find a leader to take them to their vision. Now, let me tell you another story about this lesson in vision-driven leadership that I had a couple of years ago, about 10 years ago, when I bought a sat-nav or a GPS. Have you guys worked with one of those before? They're fantastic. A wonderful lesson. I mean, you've got this electronic device, and you plug in the address that you want to go to, and then you press go. And a very nice lady inside the machine says, in the quietest way, proceed this way. Go down that road for 300 meters, and then turn right. And then in 1.4 kilometers, take the slip road to the left, etc., etc. It's wonderful. And she's so patient about it. And then if you're like me, I'm a Cape Townian. We get lost, but we get lost because we know better than the GPS. We know that if we follow that route, that lady doesn't know that there's a traffic snarl up over there, and hey, there's a mountain that means that we squeeze this way, squeeze that way. So we say, no, I'm going to take this other route, and we do, and we end up somewhere else on Earth. That's happened to me lots. But you know what that GPS does? It stops, and it thinks for a little while, and it sends you out a signal to say that it's thinking for a little while. It's recalibrating. And then in the most patient voice, the lady takes us to where we need to be. The lesson there is a lesson in hope, that from wherever you are, wherever you land up, there's actually a route from there to here. Isn't that great? So why did I go there? The real task of vision-driven leadership is to know where we want to go. And if they can establish that, then they have a part to play in bringing us to where we want to go. They are the leaders. But why is this relevant? We already have the route. It's called the Bill of Responsibilities. This was drafted in 2008 by a partnership between the Religious Leaders Forum and the Department of Education. And it was launched in 2009 as part of the curriculum at school for grades 9 and 11. And that didn't take off. And that was relaunched in 2012. And that didn't take off. And then it was relaunched in 2013. And those of you who listen to talk radio, or particularly two stations, 567 Cape Talk or 702, you'll hear them talking, or Lead SA talking about our responsibilities. Because this Bill of Responsibilities is beautiful. It says, basically, it says that with every right in our Bill of Rights, we have a responsibility to do something. And if we can meet our responsibilities, then we are actualizing our rights. So this is a GPS to our Bill of Rights. It's fantastic. And again, it can be reduced to just one page. The right to human dignity, or effectively the responsibility about human dignity, responsibilities about equality, the right to work, live in a safe environment. For example, if I have the right to the freedom of speech, which I do have in terms of our Bill of Rights, you have the responsibility to give me a platform to speak. Thank you very much. You've done that. If I have the right to the protection of my body, which is in the Bill of Rights, then you can't be a bystander in my life if I come under threat. There's something that you must do, and I'm not suggesting that you must go out and endanger your own life, but you can make a noise. You can alert somebody to something if something is happening. That's your responsibility in terms of my rights. But it's been around for 5 years already. How we get there, which brings me back to the story about Ella. Our kids are the system that can deliver that bill of responsibilities into our lives. And the question is, how? If we do learn from our kids, how can we bring them to the point where they can lead us then? Well, it's quite simple. We just talk to them in a language that they can understand. And I'm suggesting a language is called animation and creativity. So right now, I'm working with an organization in Cape Town called Sea Monster. They're a world-class animation studio and gaming studio. And we are writing 12 3 to 4 minute videos, animation videos, that will bring the Bill of Responsibilities to our kids. Because the Bill of Responsibilities has got 12 paragraphs. That's the cast of characters of our animation videos. This one here, those are all representatives of South Africa. Tsepiso is the leading lady. This guy, is an alien, something like E.T. And the advantage of using him is that he comes from a place that knows nothing about Earth or how we live, etc. And it's their job, the kids' job, to actually induct him into South Africa. And so all of the issues come out in these stories. And so animation is universally accessible. It's engaging. It's entertaining. It condenses complex messages into impactful, emotive messages that can be easily absorbed. It's unlimited by illiteracy, by culture, by race. It's captivating. The characters can do magic. They can survive rock falls. They can defy gravity. And we just accept that. We learn the lessons. They can grasp, we can grasp concepts that we otherwise wouldn't. We can dream through through animation. And as a result, learnings just bubble to the surface. And if we can underpin this with creative learning materials, song, dance, poetry, creative writing for those kids, which we are planning to do. So teachers will receive these videos. We will be beaming these videos into classrooms. We will be beaming these videos into homes via the normal TV. And underpinned by these creative activities, what we can have is kids singing and dancing the Bill of Responsibilities into their homes. And what will we do as parents? We'll watch them and we'll be engaged with them. And it'll start to rub off on us, because that's what happens. Why? Because we get it from our kids. Where's that slide? Okay, it's not working. I don't know how to do that part. And at the same time, what we plan to do is to do this of such high quality that these videos will be broadcast internationally. And we'll have global audiences. Those interstitial pieces, in between the news and in between this show or that show. These little videos. And what we hope to have is an international audience that looking and pointing at their TV sets and saying, gosh, look what's happening. They're growing citizens in South Africa. That's a place worthy of investment. That's, we can actually look there, seriously. I mean, they're growing people who know right from wrong. That's the dream. And so, each kid in this vision will become a Trojan horse, stimulating good conversation at home, bringing about a rights-based culture, if we just hand it to our kids to do. Our kids can lead us out of this mess, as it was suggested by Sir Ken Robinson earlier. It's not us that's going to lead us out, because we're stuck to a large extent, or at least those with kind of gray hair like mine. But the kids are not stuck. With inspiration of animation, creativity, and learnings of the Bill of Responsibilities, our kids can lead us from here, to a bright new future. So let's get it from our kids. And you know what? I had an idea. Let's give them a round of applause, the kids of South Africa. Over to them. Thank you.